Howdy, how's it going? Welcome to my channel, Jessica in Progress. My name's Jessica, and today we are going to be doing everything that I read in July. Now, I did not read a whole lot, like I read a good amount, but I did not read nearly as much as I wanted to in July. Now, that is a little bit because we were traveling for a while, and I expected that I would read in the car a little bit. No, I either slept or drove. I expected that I would read a little more while I was out. Nope, didn't do that. And I expected to read a little more during Summerween, but I was too busy packing and getting the house ready for a house sitter to come, my sister to come take care of our dogs while we were gone. So I was super behind on everything because there was a bunch of other things going on. So let's just jump on right into it. So we started with They Both Die at the End. Now, I loved this book. This is a 5-star book. I can't wait to read it again. I enjoyed everything about it. This follows two boys who are living in this dystopian world where if you hear crunching in the background, that's the dogs. They're eating bones. Because I needed them to stop so I could do this. Anyway, They Both Die at the End. This is a dystopian This is a dystopian type of world where the government kind of knows when, the day that you are going to die. No one knows how they know. They just are always right. So our two main characters get a call at around midnight-ish saying, hey, you're going to die in the next 24 hours. So this thing is semi-developed in the world, so it's like a couple years old. So like one of the characters' moms did not know that she was gonna die. She just did naturally, but he knows, the kid knows that he's gonna die. We follow Mateo and we follow Rufus, and they are two separate characters, obviously. But they are vastly different boys. So Mateo has grown up, his mom died when he was young, and his dad is currently in a coma. And he is one of slightly agoraphobic, worried about everything types of people. Rufus is a foster kid. His whole family died. And this is Mateo and Rufus's last day. And we kind of see the two boys grow. They find each other through an app called the Last Friend app, which is something that has been developed. A lot of things have been developed for people who know that they're going to die that day. Like there's this place where you can go around the world in like a day. And then there's these other like VR experiences that are safe, but you can still experience it, like diving with sharks or skydiving or what have you. Anyway, we go through these two boys spending their day together, and then we get the occasional other chapters of other people in the world and like how they react to either their call or not being called or anything like that. One thing that I find very interesting about this book, and I kind of want to talk about it more, is that, but not in this one, is not in this thing, because it'll be a little too spoilery, but there is this idea of self-fulfilling prophecy. So like everyone in here dies because of the situations that they put themselves in, because they were told that they were going to die. Like, I think the only one who would have died without any intervention was Mateo. I think his was like, oh, that would have happened whether or not he was told. But everyone else, for the most part, got into dangerous situations or caused their own death or caused the death of other people because they were told that they were going to die. So it's a very interesting little thing to go about this. I also like that we have the notes of the author kind of like figuring out how he's going to do this in the back of this paperback edition. So yeah, I really liked it. It was really cute. I loved it. And we love a good bisexual. Yeah, After that, Summerween essentially started, so I put everything on hold to read all the books, and I you know, didn't do as well as I thought. But we started with the writing retreat. Now, a lot of people have already read this book. It was Books and Lala's Literally Dead Book Club pick for a while ago, and then a lot of other people picked this for their Summerween read. It is a novel set in the summertime. We have this one girl who's a writer, obviously, and she has a best friend who's also a writer, and then she has another best friend who is a published author. I think they are all published, but they didn't do all that well, possibly. I don't know. At least one of them's published, and at least one of them is published, and it starts at her author party, and we find out that our main girl and her best friend are on the outs from something bloody. Don't know what it is, don't figure it out until midway through the book. And the book starts fairly normal with, hey, we're all going to this writing retreat held by this super recluse author that we love. And she's gonna take like 4 people. She takes 4 people. They spend a month in her mansion, which is essentially like Hill House, but like not really. And they go and they're supposed to like write a novel in a month and get guidance from this awesome author. Midway through, stuff changes and it gets a little crazy. And that's really all I'm gonna say without spoiling anything else. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. I liked how weird it got. I gave it like a 4-star because there were, like, I did have some problems with it. I wanted it to go in a couple of other directions. I wanted the ending to be different. And overall, the situation was just very weird and very crazy, and it was a fun read. So, read this during NaNoWriMo and give yourself a crisis. I'm getting hot.
Yeah, you are. Day by day.
Day by day. I'm almost up to freezing. Then we read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes by LaRocca. Now, I enjoyed this for the most part. There are 3 short stories in here. One of them, the Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. Now, it is written as a text conversation, email conversation, IM conversation between these 2 women, and it is staged as if these are documents in a legal, like, it is staged as if it is staged as if it is an ongoing criminal trial thing, stuff. I work at a law firm, you'd think I would know these things. But it is staged as like a true crime book that with an ongoing trial. And I was like, this is too weird for it to be real. Yeah, it's not real. It's too weird for it not to be real. But it goes through how these 2 women connect rather quickly online. And then stuff and things and stuff and things. Now, there is this discussion, kind of religion, like it's touched on in the first story and then further expanded upon a little bit in the second story. And I think the first and second story mesh really well. The third story, I don't know why I was there. It doesn't connect as well. But anyway, it talks about a little bit about religion trauma, a lot about pregnancy and like wanting to carry kids, and kids also being like a leech to the mom, because one of the characters does not want kids and one of the other characters desperately does. Anyway, a lot of stuff happens in a very short amount of time, and one thing that I wish from it that stops it from being like a little more believable and a little more 5-star, because I would put this at like a solid 4 for me, is like having been someone that has had an online long distance relationship, having been someone that made a lot of friends online with Tumblr role playing for, you know, next gen Harry Potter. I understand how they got so convoluted and connected to each other, but the amount that we are given in this book is supposedly the amount that actually happened between the two of them, and it didn't seem like enough. So I wish we had felt that there were more outside conversations between the two, or that they had met, or like something aside from just the conversations that we had. The real world didn't seem like it was a thing in this book, or in the first story. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. The next one, The Enchantment, is a story about a divorced couple or a divorcing couple, separating couple, I don't know, who have a son who is severely depressed and other things going on with him. And the son does terrible thing and forces the mom and dad to be together as like his last wish. So they go to this island that has a hotel on it, and they're supposed to be like the maintenance of it during the off season. And there's this whole thing about it. Religious trauma. And that's really, and also a little bit birthing trauma. Also, like, the first two stories are very connected, and I understood why they were together. The last story is just some neighbor playing tricks on the other guy because he has a racist husband. And I don't really remember it, except there was like this weird betting thing and needing money, and yeah. Overall, I liked the title short story. The other two, meh. Next book. Kindle. Next we read Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I actually really enjoyed this book. I read this while we were traveling. It was a nice brain off book, except for the one steamy scene where Ryan was like, hey, we gotta go join the family again. And I'm like, Ryan, I'm in the middle of the steamy scene. And he's like, I don't care. We're going out. And I was like, okay. This is like a to the death competition to win a wish from the vampire god who made all the vampires. Now, our main girl is a human. And of course she falls in love with the dude, and they do the whole, battle to the death thing and the falling in love in the middle of it thing. I wish that she was... I'm not going to say that as a spoiler. I really enjoyed it. Again, it was a brain off book for me. So like, I don't have any critique on it except for I liked it. I finished it. I immediately downloaded the second one, read 3 sentences, and was like, actually, no, I want to read an adult book now. So I'm just not ready to go to the sequel yet. I will probably though. After this one, I tried to read Iron Widow. I read like 2 sentences of it and was like, no, I actually want to read an adult book. So I started reading Shudder, which is taking place in Albuquerque. Our main girl is a Navajo person, and she grew up on the reservation, and now she takes pictures for crime scene investigation, and she is the photographer for it. And every chapter is like, it has a number, but then like the subchapter is whatever camera she's using in the middle of it. So I liked this book. I think I'd give it a 3. Like, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. Part of the problem is that we mess up our pacing with it. Okay, one other thing is that she's a medium, so she sees the ghosts, So part of the problem with it is its pacing, because we have to go every other chapter in the present and every other chapter as in her childhood on the reservation or growing up and learning ghost things, right? And I think that if we had, so it's good setup if we are continuing the series, right? If we are going to make more murder mysteries with her as the main girl. Great setup, here we go, here's her main whatever. But the book very much feels like a one and done, especially with the ending and especially with how we are bottle fed the information about the ghosts. So we go back and forth between the current crime scene and her learning about photography and about ghosts and also like Navajo stuff, which is great. Like I loved, if I had picked up a contemporary about a young girl growing up on the reservation, learning how to be a medium, it would have been great. I picked up a thriller about a medium who is a photographer who needs to solve the crimes of the people that she's photographering. You know? So the pacing really does mess up the whole thing of it. Also, it takes up like half of the book, so you are left with the crime in the book wants you to think it's convoluted, but because we are immediately given the answer of who done it, it's not. So I wish that we had been a little more crafty with the whodunit, especially since our main girl, our ghost, did not know who exactly threw her off the bridge. She needed our main girl to find out. Anyway, and then there's also this one section of another, because there's a lot of crime scenes in here, like in the beginning. It's like every new chapter in the beginning is a different crime scene. And we could have made the mystery more of a mystery, especially since in one of the crime scenes, the boy points to a bunch of police officers and goes, "That's the one who did it," you know, but it was a group of them, but our character was like, "Oh, it's that one specifically." And it could have been a nice little twist of like, "Oh no, the creepy police officer was just a creepy police officer. It was actually the other guy." You know, and it could have been like a little twisty, but it was very straightforward. It was like, done. That's the guy. And you know what? That's the guy. And we got proof. And now we're on the run. And the last couple of chapters, when we finally dropped going back in time, when we finally stopped going back in time, the pacing really fixed itself. And it was like a really good, like, I think if Ramona Emerson wanted to write a good standalone thriller without like the backstory of the character, she really could. But I feel like that's not the story that she wanted to tell. She wanted to tell a coming of age on the reservation story, but she also wanted to tell a murder mystery with ghosts. So she shoved them together. It was fine. It was fine. And then I finally finished This Is How You Lose the Time War. I don't get the hype for it. It was cute. I liked it. There was another, like, timeline paradox thing in it, which was cool. I don't think you're supposed to fully understand, but I don't really and like, I'm not a sci-fi person, so like time travel, science fiction, I haven't dabbled into a lot. I'm sure that if I tried it, I would like it a bit. But I was just kind of like, I don't understand what's going on for like most of this book. But it was cute. I don't know if I can rate this one because like 3-ish, 3.5. I liked it. It was fun. Didn't know what was going on. Anyway. For my indie bookstore, we read The Orchid and the Emerald by Timothy David Mack. Now, this is written by 3 guys, Timothy David Mack is their pseudonym. Okay, and for the book club, we talked to the authors. Or to the main author, one of them. It was supposed to be two of them, but the other one got like held up. Anyway, they are coming out with another book after this one that takes place in China and does the whole like pirate queen thing. Now, I wanted to like this book. It is a historical fiction book. There's a lot of research done into it. I just didn't like the writing style at all. I didn't like the format. Hello? Okay, goodbye. I didn't really like the formatting of it all that much either. It's a very pretty book. Like, look at this naked cover. They did very good. Like, the publishers did very good at making this book, right? Anyway, I knew by page IX that this was not a book for me. I knew by page 27 that I did not want to continue this book, and I pushed myself all the way to page 107 because I wanted to actually read it before talking to the authors and then also having book club on it. So anyway, this book, it is a historical fiction book. We follow a guy, he's got a child who's dying of an uncurable thing. We have to go into the Amazon to find the black orchid. We have to meet up with this other guy who is going after some giant emerald. The emerald is real. It's in the British National Treasure Museum or whatever. The black orchid is fake. We are also going through like the Spanish War or something. So there's a lot of like real, like they put a lot of research into this book. Like there's a lot of real research on orchid hunting. There's a lot of real research on the Spanish War, all of this other stuff. So if you like historical fiction, you might actually like this book. It just wasn't for me. And then everyone at the book club said that they did finish, like when they did finish the book, they were like, it was good for a debut author, and they did want to read the second one, especially after he said it was the same people somehow going to China with the pirate queen. So there you go. And then I did read probably 2 pages of She's a Haunting. I have a bookmark in here. I can tell you how many pages. I read 23 pages of She is a Haunting. Oh my god. Am I going to go back to this book? Yes. I'm just not in the mood for it right now. I need to go... Why am I not in the mood for it? I don't know. I just didn't immediately connect with it. I knew that I would like it. I just didn't immediately connect with it when I was reading it at the time. But I know that I want to go back and read it. So I will read this, just not right now. Maybe this month. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. That was how my reading went in June. No, July. That's how my reading went in July. Hopefully August will be a little bit better. We're trying our best. We've already finished one book in August, and it is whatever day this is. It's a Saturday. I don't know. That's been everything. Let me know what you read in July. Let me know if you read any of the books that I read. And remember, we are all in progress.